Since social media took over our lives, something strange has been happening. You've probably noticed it. Some people post photos like they're oxygen, daily, hourly, every angle, every outfit, every latte. And maybe you've wondered, why do people do that? What's the psychology behind this? Is it insecurity, confidence, narcissism, attention seeking, or something deeper that most people never talk about? Give me a few minutes and I'll break down the real psychology. The stuff backed by research, not the quick assumptions people on the internet love to shout. But before we get into it, here's the truth. It's not one single reason. It's not one type of person. And it's definitely not as simple as they're just obsessed with themselves. So here's the roadmap. We're unpacking 3 major psychological layers. Layer 1, the self-identity layer, layer 2, the emotional and reward layer, layer 3, the social and cultural layer. And when you understand these 3, posting photos won't look the same to you again. Let's start with layer 1, the self-identity layer. Here's something you might not know. Psychology researchers call social media a self-presentation stage, meaning you don't just post. You perform who you think you are, or who you want to be. Posting photos becomes a way to ask, is this how the world sees me? Do I make sense in your eyes? And listen, that doesn't automatically mean insecurity. In fact, for many people, it's the opposite. It's identity building. Think of it like this. When you're figuring out who you are, you test versions of yourself. You try a style, a vibe, a lifestyle, and photos become the mirror you hold up to the world. But here's the twist. For some people, posting photos does come from insecurity, especially when their self-worth depends on the outside validation. Comments become reassurance. Likes become micro-doses of approval, and the photo becomes a question that means, am I enough today? But don't fall for stereotypes. Not all frequent posters are insecure. Some are simply documenting their lives. Some enjoy aesthetics. Some treat social media like a digital scrapbook. Identity is complicated. Posting is just the expression of it. Now, layer 2, the emotional and reward layer. Let me drop something kind of uncomfortable. Your brain loves attention. Mine does. Yours does. Everyone's does. Every time someone likes or comments on your photo, your brain releases dopamine. Not a lot. Just enough to make you check again and again. That tiny reward hit can be addictive, not in a dramatic way, but in a why am I refreshing the app every 30 seconds kind of way. Frequent posters often fall into one of these emotional loops. 1. The gratification loop. Post, wait, reward, repeat. This is the classic dopamine cycle. 2. The expression loop. Some people use photos as emotional release. When they're bored, lonely, or stressed, posting becomes a distraction, a comfort, a small emotional reset. 3. The connection loop. Posting becomes a silent way of saying, I'm here, somebody see me. Not for attention, but for connection. Humans hate feeling invisible. And here's something researchers found. People who post photos often report feeling more socially connected, even if the connection is shallow. That doesn't mean they're fake. It means they're human. Let's be honest. Posting photos isn't just psychology. It's also culture. We live in an era where documenting everything feels normal. Brunch, photo, gym, photo, airport, photo, sunlight hitting your cheek at the right angle, definitely a photo. Society taught us. If it's not posted, did it even happen? For some people, posting is simply a habit, a routine like brushing teeth but with filters. And in certain cultures, showing your life online is part of social communication. You share your wins, your face, your environment, your aesthetic. It's not showing off, it's participation. But there's also pressure. Pressure to be interesting, pressure to be attractive, pressure to be seen. Posting photos becomes a way to stay in the social loop because falling out of the loop feels like disappearing. Especially for younger generations, your online presence is your identity. It's your resume, your social currency, your visibility. So when someone posts frequently, it's not always vanity. Sometimes it's survival, social survival. But let's clear up the biggest misconception. Posting photos does not automatically mean someone is narcissistic. Actual narcissism, the clinical kind that psychologists diagnose, is rare. But here's why the stereotype sticks. Narcissists do post more selfies on average. They use social media to boost ego, not connection. But most people who post a lot, not narcissists, just people expressing themselves in a modern world where the camera is always in their pocket. So what's the final breakdown? People who frequently post their photos often fall into these categories. 1. The identity builders. They're experimenting with who they are. 2. The connection seekers. They want interaction, not attention. 3. The aesthetic sharers. They enjoy visuals and expression. 4. The memory archivists, they're documenting life moments. 5. The dopamine chasers' likes give them tiny emotional boosts. 6. The social participants. Posting is simply part of their culture or community. And yes, a small group might be narcissistic, but it's the exception, not the rule. Let me leave you with this. Social media didn't invent human behavior, it just amplified it. People have always wanted to be seen, to be validated, to feel connected, to share their stories, to shape their identity. Posting photos is just the 2025 version of something ancient, the desire to exist loudly enough that someone else notices. So next time you see someone posting too many pictures, don't judge so fast. There's always a story behind the photo, and most of the time it's more human than you think. If this helped you understand people better, share it. Maybe someone in your circle needs to hear this too. See you soon.